AMD, Lisa Su, watched her on CNBC the other day. I had a chance to talk about them on Bloomberg Tech early in the week, Pat, but I always like getting your take on this company, as one of the, the early AMD execs, but, you watch them so closely and always have great inputs.
I appreciate that. And it kind of looked smart years ago when everybody was saying that AMD was going to go out of business. And by the way, my take then was, what they could, and they needed two things to come in. They needed Intel to have major issues. That was the first thing. And the second thing that they needed to do was flawlessly execute. And actually, it was a third thing, which is bring something monumentally different. And we know what happened, right? Intel had stumbles, AMD flawlessly executed, and they brought a disaggregated design to the table, which was super risky, but they absolutely pulled it off, and the rest of the industry is following them on that. They just got to it first. So AMD did exactly what you would expect. And, if I were to put a description on this earnings, it'd be, isn't growth mode fun? Okay. I mean, revenue up 54%, gross margin up 70%, gross margin percent up 450 basis points, op inc up 111%, net income 137%. Those are GAAP numbers, not non-GAAP. But you get the idea. They were very, very close. And, the whys, it's very simple. They doubled the size of their data center market. That's EPYC plus Instinct. AMD's being still a little bit cagey, not breaking out EPYC and not breaking out Instinct and not even breaking out graphics. I don't think it's a story they want to tell at this point, to be honest. They've had growth, but not growth like in NVIDIA. So CCG, which is essentially CPUs and GPUs for the client, 44%. They increased their ASPs, which is great. I'm pretty sure they gained revenue share. They probably lost some unit share, though, to the folks over at Intel. EESC division, which is a combination of EPYC and semi-custom, up 69%. That is the reason that they that the gross margin was up so high, because the gross margin on EPYC is just monumental. A cautionary tale, though. AMD needs to be very careful in how they move forward. You have Intel architecturally, who is adopting what AMD did in a more distributed. We've got 3D packaging that AMD hasn't. Maybe they've shown one of their cards so far, and I'm convinced until otherwise that Intel is in the lead on this. And if the market shifts like that, we could see AMD having trouble getting 54% quarterly growth in the next couple of years.
Yeah, there's always an end to every great run, and there's always a turning point. Overall, AMD seems to still have the momentum as Intel continues to redesign its entire existence, but in a way that I think the market is increasingly starting to get their arms around. And we're going to talk about that more later when we talk about Intel On, Pat. But it's hard to not look at what the company was able to accomplish this quarter and say, wow, this is a really good result. I think we're going to be very interested when Mercury and some of the other market size numbers, market share numbers start to come out to see exactly what happened. Like I said, I think the time for AMD to grab market is starting to come to an end, though. It's been very easy for the past seemingly 8 to 12 quarters, and it's not going to be as easy anymore. Intel's got a much clearer path. Of course, NVIDIA is very competitive, and the ARM acquisition is still out there lingering, and we're seeing more interest in that particular tie up and what that could mean for the business. But I think, like I said, Lisa Su is just an impressive leader. She just seems to get the things right that need to be right, and they are benefiting from being much smaller overall revenue than Intel, so you don't need to have as much to grow. But watching into the next few quarters, seeing if they can sustain this level of growth is going to be what everyone's eyes are on. So And then obviously, the Xilinx tie-up does that get approval? It's still out there. It's lingering. It's a big deal for the company. FPGAs, ASICs, new architectures, all high interest. It was a big commitment, big dollars. The market's waiting now. Is this going to get over the line with all the attention on semiconductors shortages? I believe it will, Pat. My instinct is this deal will get done. It has a higher probability in my eyes than the ARM deal getting done, although I think both are still possibilities.